What's up guys, everyone is here back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, hopefully you're having a great day or a great evening wherever you are in the world. Also, thank you for those who are returning viewers. I am free to play. I'm coming up to 6 years in a couple of days. I will be making a video on a 6-year account progression for a fully free to play account. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. So stay tuned for that one. Definitely subscribe if you want to watch that. Now, we've got a fusion coming up, a fragment fusion on the November 20th, which is going to be next week. So we have about a week or so to prepare, a little bit over a week. And it's great that we're actually getting this way earlier than usual. I'm going to go over what my thoughts are on this champion, where you can utilize this champion in game. Should you be going for this champion? Is it worth going for him? And is he going to be great early game, mid game, late game, end game, etc.? So let's get into it. All right, so first things first, there is a little bit of a blurb. It does say November 20th, they're planning to launch a champion fragment event for the new champion, Cross Wallbreaker. Okay, it's an Ogryn tribe champion, legendary, attack base, and spirit affinity. It says, no, we're not done showing love to the Ogryn tribes just yet. The Ogryn faction does need some more supporting champions. I wouldn't say as much in terms of damage dealers, but for support champions, definitely a big need. Let's see what we've got going on. Today, we're introducing a new member with explosive personality, Cross Wallbreaker, a damage dealer built around power and the bomb debuff. So let's take a look at the index specifically for the Ogryn tribe. Do we have bombers? Currently, there is a bomber here in War Mother. Attacks all enemies, places 2 bombs that detonate after 2 turns, and the bomb damage increases by 100% against bosses. So she is going to be one of the best when it comes in best in class for hard faction war bosses. I think she's going to be one of the best because she has a decreased attack on the A1 and attacks on enemies instantly detonates all bomb debuffs if this champion's under an increased attack. So that's on a 4-turn cooldown, and then has an accuracy of 65 in faction crypts. Placing her in the lead is good in some cases because then you can bump up resistance on champions if you don't have strong protection sets or strong resistance gear in general. So that way you could bump up your resistance because you don't have to bump up your accuracy so much when you have an accuracy lead. Now, decreased attacks also really effective against the boss. So I wonder how he compares against War Mother. And then do we have another bomb champion? I don't believe so. I think it's just War Mother for the Ogryns for legendaries. And then Gizmak is the HP burner DPS. Yeah, there is no other bomb champion from a legendary perspective. From a epic perspective, we've got anybody here, Grunch, who is a pretty weak bomb champion, but he can still work. He has block buffs on this ability, and he has a heal. He is a decent supporting bomb champion, so he's not bad for PvE, but for PvP, not the best, because it does detonate after 1 turn though. It's only placing 1 bomb though. A single bomb after 1 turn. However, in this day and age with Stone Skin, it does like double or triple damage, something like crazy like that. It does go over the fact in here, if we take a look at the bomb debuff specifically, when bomb debuff expires, the affected champion suffers direct damage that ignores the defense value. The damage inflicted by bomb scales per the stat indicated on the skill description. It doesn't say particularly here, but it does do more damage to the Stone Skin buffs. I think 100% more damage, or 200% more damage if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so there's that. The goal was to give players a strong, accessible Ogryn damage dealer who can pull weight in both arena and faction wars, especially for those who may not have a wide variety of champions in this faction. For myself, I do not personally have a wide variety. I guess I did recently pull a decent damage dealer in Biggin. Biggin is strong. I don't have him ranked up. I've never used him. He does have a stun, decreased accuracy, and decreased speed with a accuracy in dungeons, which is not going to be helpful for faction wars, but he is a decent DPS in general. Ignatius also a good DPS defensive base champion. Diamond strong for supporting. So I think personally for myself, I would be fine in this faction. The issue is I don't have a super strong bomber. I don't have War Mother, and I do have Grunch Killjoy. To be honest, you could probably just get through the faction ward hard condition stage where you have to apply bombs most likely with just a Grunch Killjoy. To be fair, if you book him out, now he does require an insane amount of books though. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 books is insane, not gonna lie. Fills turn rate of all allies by 10% whenever a bomb debuff detonates on an enemy. Decent passive on Grunch for looking back at him, but like I said, in that sense, for this legendary fragment champion, I already have Grunch. And I do have Nishak, but he's not part of this faction specifically. So once I get into his kit and read through his kit, I can determine whether or not I definitely want to go for him or potentially skip him, and give you a sense of if you should skip him or not. But it also depends on where you at in your progression on your account. Fragment fusions tend to be easier than your classic fusions. So Kraz can place the bomb debuffs on all enemies while boosting his own turn meter, then follow up by reducing bomb timers and applying either active skills cooldowns, increase, or stun, leaving enemies unable to retaliate. So his passive fills allies' turn meter whenever a bomb detonates. So very similar to Grunch Killjoy, but a legendary version of it, it seems. He gains a chance to take an instant turn whenever an enemy dies from a bomb. That's very unique in his kit. I think that's nice for wave content. So in general, bombers are fairly strong against wave content. They can clear waves. If you can just get a weaken on the waves, the bombs do more damage, of course, to weakened champions, and of course more damage to champions under Stone Skin, as you know. This makes him an excellent partner for other bomb champions, and even his own explosive don't land the killing blow, your team can still benefit from every detonation. So that means that your supporting champions are coming around faster to take turns potentially, and your other DPS potentially. So I think that's pretty cool. Now let's take a look at his skills. So this is Kraz Wallbreaker. Let me get out of the way for a second. Take a look at him. Kraz Wallbreaker, really cool looking champion. I do like that he his bomb on his hand looks exactly like a Dread Bomb from Bommel. That's another thing, is he could be really strong in the Bommel Doom Tower boss if you don't have an option for a really good bomber. So if you don't have Nishak, if you don't have really good ally attackers, or maybe you have Nishak but you don't have good ally attackers at all, and so you just need another bomber to help finish off Bommel in a faster time, maybe you go for this guy to go get a faster speed Bommel run. That would be helpful too in some cases for later endgame content. Of course, let's take a look at his kit though. Attacks one enemy on the A1. Each hit 30% chance of decreasing the detonation countdown of all bomb debuffs on the target. 30% chance. That chance books out to a 50% chance. That's not bad. That's actually not bad at all. He could be insane paired with Nishak against Bommel. It would make the run way faster, I think. Each hit, 30% chance of decreasing. Yeah, that's good. By one turn. That's really good. In Arena, you can wipe out one person, essentially, from counterattacking with this guy. You put him in counterattack set. The only downside is, obviously, against block damage champions like Neve or Mamirchka, he's going to be really weak against. Cleanse champions, he's going to be pretty weak against. So there is that. You'd have to make sure you get rid of the cleansers. He is going to be strong, however, against the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Since bombs can go through passives, he's good against Siegfried because it can go through his passive if the bomb detonates on him. Because it's not like you're attacking them, it's just a debuff that's exploding. Kind of similar to like poison damage ticking. So that's another good thing about having a bomb champion if you're struggling against those specific teams. If you go fast, beat them in speed, you land the bombs. If they don't have a chance to cleanse, they just get bombed and die. You could also pair him with Gaius. Gaius the Gleeful, older champion, but Gaius the Gleeful has a great passive. So if you happen to have Gaius, I believe Gaius is a Knight's Rev, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so Gaius is in the Knight's Revenant. As you can see, the passive when he's attacked has a chance of placing bombs that detonate after 2 turns, and instantly detonates all bomb debuffs on enemies whenever this champion is killed. So if for some reason you pair him with the Kraz Wallbreaker, Wallbreaker goes first, puts the bombs, they nuke and somehow kill Gaius, or hopefully they kill Gaius, then everybody just blows up and instantly goes away. So that's really nice. On the battlefield, Sapper has a 75% chance of placing 2 bomb debuffs on each enemy that detonate after 2 turns, fills this champion's turn meter by 25% for each enemy with a bomb debuff. So wow, that's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. It's not Nishak, obviously, right? Because Nishak just grants an extra turn after placing on an AoE, and then he AoEs them again with an attack and can bomb them. The downside with Nishak is that his bomb, so this guy doesn't attack them. It just places the bombs. Nishak, his downside is he uses an attack when he places bombs, so he does damage, and therefore that enemy team can counterattack. And if they have a strong enough DPS, the counterattack will just kill Nishak. And then therefore Nishak can't use his additional second ability to attack all enemies and reduce the skill cooldown on the bombs by 1, or reduce the cooldown on them, and then blow everybody up when they take a turn. This guy, however, he can place the bombs. Since it's on 4 enemies, if you can place it on all 4, then you're going to get an 80% boost to turn meter. If you book it up to 100% chance to place the bombs, that's obviously going to be better. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. So he's going to be really close to gaining an extra turn, almost. Not quite, but he's going to be at 80%, which is very high. And then attacks all enemies on the A3, 75% chance of decreasing the detonation count of all bombs, which books out to 100% on a 3-turn cooldown. Okay. Also has a 75% chance of placing block active skills. Oh, wait. That's also very strong. He could actually be really strong for Chimera. So if you need him for trials, he could potentially help with Chimera a little bit. He's not going to be insane, but he's going to be okay for Chimera. The earlier stages of Chimera, normal and hard mode Chimera, he would be pretty good. So bombs, block active skills, because block active skills is good for the Viper stage of the Chimera. But also block active skills are very strong for against any champion. You can go against mythicals with this guy, right? Because mythicals, you want to place block active skills so they don't transform. Someone I can think about is Crixia, who transforms and removes all of the debuffs from the team, okay? And resets their skills. With block actives, she can't transform. Siegfried, he can't transform if you do this. Now, you can use him in a couple different ways, because you don't have to have bombs on the enemy to place the block active skills. It just has a 100% chance when booked to place the block active skills. So you could put if you pair him with like an Embreeze where he strips the stone skin. Oh, this is also good against Taras and Marichka. Why? Why do I say that? It's only because block active skills stops Taras from counterattacking with his A2. So this could be good against them. If you strip Marichka and then you place block active skill, you have him go second, right, after the strip champion. That places increased accuracy. You know who that is? Marius. Marius, then he goes, places the block active skills, then comes back around, places the bombs, and then hopefully you can strip the block damage with another champion. Maybe you use an Arbiter with their A2. Maybe you use a Fabian, something like that. And then boom. So you could make him faster than Fabian if you want to just use him for arena, I'm talking. But obviously, not everybody's going to use him in that sense. There's a ton of other block active champions in the game. I'm just theory crafting, okay? This is just theory crafting. So now if I were to go to the passive here, fills all turn meters for allies by 5% for each time a bomb detonates. So 5% each time it detonates. Because he's placing 2 bombs, that's a solid amount of bombs and a solid amount of turn meter. So if you land, you're going to land 8 bombs potentially on all enemies, and then times that by 5, that's a 40% increase for each time the bomb detonates. Pretty strong. 20% chance of activating an instant turn effect on this champion whenever an ally or an enemy is killed by a bomb. He's a pretty decent champion. Obviously, only a 20% chance of activating an instant turn is not the best, but it's decent. It's going to come clutch in random situations, mostly in PvE, not so much in PvP. It could happen, but if you're landing the bombs and get an instant turn or the bombs go off, maybe I think the cool thing would have been if they added removes from the A1 chance to remove a buff instead of decreasing the cooldown. If they added a chance to remove a buff, then he would be super strong against Marichka or block damage champions because he can remove the buff and then kill them. So like the first hit, second hit, chance to remove buff, third hit, then detonates the bomb, or detonation countdown of all bombs go down by 1. That would be pretty cool. Increase attack in all battles by 30%. So he's a decent champion. He's not bad. I think he's going to be great in PvE. Definitely against Bommel. Definitely against wave content. Very strong with the block active skills. Super powerful for hard faction wars. Very powerful for PvP, especially against mythicals. So you don't have to go with the bombs first. You can go with his A3 first and then roll back around to the bombs so it gives you time to strip. Okay, so he does have some use cases in the end game. Personally, based on the block active skills, if he didn't have block active skills and he didn't have like these instant turns and chance to stun as well, I think that's the downside of his kit, will be getting wanded by the stun. 30% chance to place a stun on the target for 1 turn. So that part is a little bit iffy, but I think he's still going to be pretty insane, especially for hard faction wars. So I'm going to go for this guy 100%. I think that if you're in early or mid game or late game, you should absolutely go for this guy unless you have Nishak, War Mother, and a bunch of other options at your disposal from the Ogren tribe faction or in general. If you don't, then you should definitely be going for this guy. But if you have everything, like I said, then it could be a skip for you and you might not want to even consider going for him. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Where could he be good? Like I said, I gave you all the different areas. Let me know a couple of areas in the game where he could be strong. Obviously, he's going to be good in Arena. Obviously, he's going to be good in PvE. But I really want to try him out in Arena for the block active skills and then go back around to his bombs. That would be pretty fun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a wonderful day or wonderful evening, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.